Hello, and good evening, everyone. Hope you are having a fantastic evening. I'm certainly having a great evening, and I wanted to touch base with you about something that's near and dear to my heart. And so I wanted to just take this few moments to do this and talk with you tonight. So I hope you are all doing well. Okay, there we go. So I hope you all are doing well this evening. And I really just wanted to touch base with you just for a few moments. I thought I would just share with you, so many students, I've been hearing about so many students getting ready to go back to school. And I was just saying, what can I do? What information could I provide? How can I help? And, I believe that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. And one of the things that I get an opportunity to do is I get to speak to so many people, and I'm honored that I get to speak. I'm glad that God could trust me with pain. He knew that He could allow me to go through something, and I wouldn't keep it to myself. And so, if you've been following me any length of time, I'm very transparent. I like to share my journey. I believe that there's someone out there that will benefit from my story. And in light of the fact that so many students are about to go on campus, God bless you. Hey, listen, I'll ask you to do me a favor. Bless you. Love you. What I'd like for you to do, if you don't mind, is when you do go ahead and type your comment, will you put a dash in your first name so I can acknowledge you as well? And if you have any questions throughout this, or if you know someone that you think that this may benefit, someone who's going off to school, you think that this will be a benefit, thank you for inviting your followers, honey. Thank you so much for that. If you do, all you have to do is if you have an Android, you can just swipe up and hit share. And then if you have an Apple device, all you do is go from left to right and and hit share, and that will invite your followers. So if you know anyone that's on their way to college, listen, I believe that experience may be the best teacher, but it doesn't always have to be that person's best teacher. And so I want to encourage you, if you know someone you think this will be a benefit to them, then please, by all means, feel free to share this, because I'm not going to be on long. Thank you for all of you are sharing it. That's phenomenal. Thank you so much. Many of you know I'm Bobette Brown. I am a transformation architect. I am a coach, an author, a speaker, and I love to share my story. I believe that I've been called into the kingdom for such a time as this to help those to begin to reframe their experiences, regain their momentum so that they can begin to redesign their future. And so my goal is to help you go forward with confidence and clarity in whatever area of your life. And a part of me being able to do that is because I have gone through quite a few things in my life, but I survived them. And I believe that I survived them so that I can help someone else. And so I'm going to just go ahead and jump in. I want to share some success strategies to avoid being a victim on sexual assault on college campuses. And I hope that you will share this information. I have some notes here, and so I'm going to be looking at them periodically because this is a topic that's very dear to my heart. If you've been following me any length of time, you know that I'm very transparent. I love sharing my story. My pain has worked together for my process. My rejection only gave me direction. And so I want to share this with you. My first year of college, I was sexually assaulted. I was raped and beaten my first year of college. And as I got older, and everything happens for a reason. You look now that one of the major topics on college campuses, one of the major topics is this ongoing issue with sexual assault on campuses. And I'm honored that I get an opportunity. You're very welcome. I love being transparent. And so I think one of the powerful things that God allowed me to do is to go through that. And now it allows me, I'm still alive during this time in this season where it is such an ongoing topic with what you see it all the time and on television and media. So let me just jump in. I want to give you some tips. First and foremost, I want to let you know that more than 250,000 of people are sexually assaulted each year in the United States of America. Yes, more than a quarter of a million people. And so 1 in 4 women on college campuses, 1 out of 4 women on college campuses today And that number may have even increased. I want to thank you for the hearts as well. Each 1 in 4 of those that are on college's campus has been a victim of rape, and nearly 90% of them knew their rapist. And I can say that the person that raped me, beat me, actually, I was assaulted, both raped and beaten my first year of college. And I did know him to some degree. And of course, I could not have ever expected that I would have ended up in a situation like that. And, but it did. It happened to me. I survived it. And I believe that I survived it so that I can share my story with those of you that are on your way to college. Maybe you have some nieces, some cousins, some daughters. I want you to share. Just take a few moments and talk to them about some success strategies on how they can prevent a sexual assault. Now, of course, in all honesty, you and I both know that it's totally impossible, of course, for 100% to prevent a 100% at a 100% rate of having a sexual assault. Okay, but I can tell you this: that statistics show that 1 out of 4 women, and probably it's even higher now. Especially, you look at the prevalence now, and with the different passing of laws where now you have marijuana that's legalized. So you can only imagine all that will encompass now on college campuses. So you want to begin to share this and talk with your loved ones about the importance of what they can do to protect themselves. So of the college women who are raped, really only 10% of those that are raped even report the rape. And I will say that I was one of those. When I initially was raped, of course, when I got back to campus, and I went into my dorm mates immediately knew something happened. And one of the first things that I did, which you can imagine that they tell you not to do, is once they recognized what had happened, I was totally disheveled. They knew that something had occurred, and I jumped in the shower. And so that's important, that if there is a sexual assault, then you should not get in the shower, but the authorities should be called immediately. And so out of the college women, I say that because this may mean that there are even more people, more young ladies, and gentlemen as well. But most of the time you see 1 in 4 women are going to be raped. And I was one of those 4. And so you can share these tips, and by you sharing these tips, then maybe you will allow someone to prevent that from happening to them. So what am I saying? That college women are typically, they're most vulnerable to rape during the first few weeks of their freshman year. Within the first few weeks of their freshman year, that's when they're more vulnerable. Why? Because they're just caught up in the giddiness of being there on campus. They're not being aware of their surroundings. They've kind of let down their guards. They're kind of even trying to figure out where they fit in. So maybe they're not as in tune with their surroundings as they should be. And I indeed was a freshman in college when I was raped and beaten as well. And as I shared just recently, I can still remember it like it was today. And but I'm healed and I'm whole because God needed me to be healed and whole at this season, so that I would be able to share with you all the importance of what you can do, what information you can share with your loved ones, and prayerfully they will be able to avoid it. So one of the tips that I want to say, and again, as I said, you can never be, you could never 100% completely protect yourself, all right, from sexual assault. But there's some things that you can do, and that's what I want to provide for you. Some of these things that you can do. The first thing I want you to let your loved ones know is that they need to be aware of their surroundings. And again, remember, I'm telling you that majority of the time it's the freshmen, but it's not the freshmen are not just the only ones. But most of the time within the first few weeks, it will be typically statistics show that a freshman will be assaulted. So they need to be aware of their surroundings. Knowing where they are and who they are around will really help them to prevent them from, and will possibly help them get out of a situation. So it's important. They need to be aware of their surroundings. And so share that with your loved one. Be aware of your surroundings. That's the first tip. how to avoid successful strategies to help you avoid being a victim of sexual assault. Be aware of your surroundings. Tell your loved one that. The second tip I want to give you is to try to avoid isolated areas. Try to avoid isolated areas because it's more difficult to get help if no one is around. So you want your loved one to let him or her know, and as I said, it's typically 1 in 4 women, let her know that she needs to avoid isolated areas, dark areas. If there's something in her gut that's saying you shouldn't go that way, then guess what? She shouldn't go that way. And just encourage her not to go that way. Even sometimes you could be, maybe she's even in a group, a small group of people. Still, if there's something, just one of the things that we say, my husband and I, and we've taught our kids, we just say, don't ignore fleeting thoughts. So when it comes into your mind that this may not be a safe environment, then, let your loved one know, you know what? Avoid being in an isolated area as much as possible. You want to be in a very well-lit area. And then remember, the first point is be aware of your surroundings. All right. This is the third point. And I'm going to give you about 8 of the points. So the first one, you want to be aware of your surroundings. The second one is you want to try to avoid isolated areas. The third one is when you're walking, walk with purpose. In other words, you are on the move. It may be dim. It may be dark outside, dusk outside, or dim. And so you want to make sure that you're walking with the purpose. Even if you don't know exactly where you're going on college campuses, they should act like they do know where they're going. Walk with a purpose so that, again, these are just successful strategies to prevent sexual assault. And ultimately, I believe that these strategies will help someone prevent themselves from getting into a situation that I pray that no one has to go through. I went through it, as I said, in my freshman year of college, and I didn't call the police or anything initially. I was just out of it. It just never entered my mind. I came in, I felt dirty, and I jumped in the shower. And of course, when I finally did go to the police, of course, the first thing they wanted to do was get the fibers and, just get all that they could get as far as the person who assaulted me. And that had been washed away. So again, beware of their surroundings, avoid isolated areas, and then walk with the purpose. And here's the fourth one, and I've already alluded to it, is trust your instincts. Again, trust your instincts. If a situation or a location feels unsafe, it feels uncomfortable, then it's probably not the best place to be. And so don't try to fit in. Don't feel like, I'm just going to push it aside. I don't want to look like, I'm not fitting in with the group. I'm new. No, trust your instincts. If your loved one doesn't feel that that's a safe place, then it's not a safe place. It's not a safe place. So you want to get out of there as soon as possible. Remember, and when you're getting out of there, you're walking with a purpose. You're getting out of there immediately. You're going to well-lit areas. You're getting to a place that's safe, and you want to be around other people. All right. So you're being aware of your surroundings. You're avoiding isolated areas. You're walking with a purpose, and you're trusting your instincts. And then this is a big one. And this may be hard for you to do, but I still want to put it out there. And that is, try not to load yourself down with packages, with books. Try not to be so loaded. And even if that means that you need to have a backpack that is a roller backpack, you want to make sure that you can move at a moment's notice, and that you are remember, you're trying to be aware of your surroundings. So if you have a lot of packages, then you want to make sure, sound advice, every college student needs to hear this. Thank you, Paulette, for sharing that. And I'm praying that my experience will prevent someone else. And this is what I believe it's all about. I believe it's all about paying it forward. I could sit back and complain and, be bitter because of what happened to me. But you know what? What happened to me made me better. And part of making me better is because now I get to share that story with countless other people on college campuses around the world. I get to share with them my story. And I believe that countless lives are being saved because people are putting these tools, these strategies into place. And if I would have done that, I didn't do these. Now I could say, it didn't work for me, but I'm not going to know. You know what? I went through it, I survived it, and I've learned. And now I want to help someone else not have to go through what I went through. So even if you don't think your loved one, if you're listening and you're on your way to college, or if you don't feel that your loved one will listen, still put it out there. You'll be surprised what will happen in a moment's notice. Okay. So again, try not to load yourself down so that you're unable to move. You want, when people see you with a lot of things on you, you're carrying a lot of packages, then typically that makes you appear more vulnerable. But if you make up in your mind that, you know what, I want to make sure I'm aware of my surroundings and I can't be loaded down because at a moment's notice, I need to be able to move. All right. I'm going to give you another one. Number six, make sure that your cell phone is with you and charged. Make sure that your cell phone is with you and charged. That's pivotal. So you're going out on campus, you have to go to the library late at night, you're coming back from the student center, maybe you're coming back from a football game, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have your cell phone with you, and you never want to let your cell phone get to the point that you can't use it. So you want to keep it charged. As close to 100% as possible, you want to make sure that it's charged. That may mean that wherever you are, you're not going to be able to take a lot of pictures at night, and you're not going to be able to do a lot of video at night, but that's fine. The ultimate goal is that you protect yourself, and you can protect yourself if you make sure that your phone is with you and that it is charged. And also in this day of, you want to have money in the sense of, well, the wonderful thing about modern technology now is you can grab a taxi, you could grab a Uber, they're right there immediately. So whatever you need to do, that's the next step. Okay. So 6. So remember, just going to highlight again. Remember, you want to be aware of your surroundings. You want to make sure that you avoid isolated areas. It would be nice if someone would type these in for those that will come back and listen on later on. So be aware of your surroundings. Avoid isolated areas. Walk with a purpose. Walk with a purpose. And then you want to trust your instincts. And then you're going to try not to be loaded down. All right? And then you want to make sure that your cell phone is with you, that it is charged. And you also want to make sure that you have some money with you in the event that you need to get away really fast. You want to be able to have a cab fare, or even if you have some cash, you have your card, in this age of Uber. All right. And now I want to give you one more. And maybe I'll give you 2 more, but this is one I want to give you. Don't allow yourself to be isolated with someone you don't trust or someone you don't know. And I mean know them. That was one of the things that I can say ran into my situation. I could have never assumed, and I could have never guessed that I was going to be assaulted. I had no idea that when I was asked to go to this event with this young man, we were friends. And that's another thing, that the majority of the people that also are assaulted, they know they're rapists, and typically they have some relationship with them, that they are friends, right? So obviously that was not a friend. But again, so you want to make sure that if you don't want to find yourself in a place where you're isolated with that individual, and if you're not sure, you don't really know that person, then I would say don't be alone with that person, because you just don't know people. You don't know what they're capable of doing. And this is not to incite fear. You know that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and power and a sound mind. But the Bible also tells us that we don't want to be wise in our own eyes. And also we don't want to be ignorant of the enemy's devices. And so you're getting this information. It's not a coincidence that you're on this scope tonight. It's not a coincidence that you're listening to it. And I believe that if it doesn't pertain to you, it's going to help someone that you do know, prevent them. And you can share the tips that you do know. The Periscope, this scope will be on. You'll be able to come back on to my channel for the next 12 hours, and you'll be able to see the replay and take advantage of the replay. But even if you can't take advantage of the replay, I will be uploading this to my YouTube channel, which is Lady Bobette Brown, and you can see it on the YouTube channel, because we are not going to allow our young ladies or our gentlemen, that's right, we're not going to allow anyone to start their year off being assaulted. And we know that 1 in 4 people will be sexually assaulted on college campuses this year. And I'm decreeing and declaring it will not be anyone that has listened to this scope because they've taken the appropriate action. So you don't want to be isolated. And then this is the last one. This is 8. 8. Avoid putting your headphones in your ears. Now we have our earbuds. And if you have it in, make sure that you have it only in one ear so that you can hear and you can be aware of your surroundings. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. And so, again, you want to be able to hear, you want to be aware of your surroundings. And if you're walking with your headphones on, then it may appear that you're totally distracted. And I say keep one out regardless. And I'll tell you why. I know that you may be thinking, well, I'm going to have them in my ears, both ears, and that way it'll look like I'm not paying, it'll look like, I'm listening to music, but you don't want to look like you're vulnerable. And if you have both of your earbuds in your ears, then for the perpetrator, that will look to them that you're very vulnerable. So you want to keep one out of your ear. Even if you don't have any music going on, you just have one on in case you can, you get a phone call or whatever, then make sure you do that, okay? So these are the 8 tips. Again, these are the 8 tips I want to give you, success strategies, if you will, to help you avoid being a victim of campus sexual assault. And I believe that you've gained this knowledge, you've gained this wisdom for such a time as this. And I know you're going to have a successful college year. And I pray that you will not just take this information for yourself, but then you will share it with others as well. Remind them to be aware of their surroundings. Remind them to avoid isolated areas. Remind them that when they are walking on campus, especially at night or even when it's dusk, to walk with purpose. Even if they're not sure where they're going, act like you know where you're going. And then trust your instincts. If you feel like something's not right, it's not right. So go ahead and trust your instincts. You have people that are praying and fasting and believing God that you'll have a successful year. And maybe that's why you sense that something is not right. And then again, remember, try not to load yourself down with your bags and your book bags and all this stuff that would possibly make you appear to be more vulnerable. Make sure that you have your cell phone. You want your cell phone to have it available, but you also want it to be charged in the event that you need to use it. And don't allow yourself to be isolated with someone that you don't trust, someone that you don't really know, someone that may appear to be inebriated. They may look like they're high. Don't be alone with them. All right. And then finally, make sure you want to avoid putting your earbuds in both earbuds in your ears. You want to be able to make sure that you have one of them available. So I hope this scope has been beneficial to you. I'm going to open it up. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions that you have. You're very welcome, Monica. Thank you for adding your name. You're very welcome. I'm honored to be able to share part of my journey. And like I said, experience is a good teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience. And as I shared in my recent scope, I know that I don't look like what I've been through. But trust me, I've gone through it. I've survived it. And I believe for such a time as this. So again, if you have any questions for me, I'll take them. If not, then that will be the end of this scope. And again, success strategies to help you avoid, you or your loved one, to avoid being a victim of sexual assault. All right. Well, it's a blessing. I'm honored to be able to share this time with you. I pray that you take these tips and please pay it forward. If they don't apply to you, maybe you don't have someone that's going off to college, but if you know someone that that they will benefit from it, will you share them with them? If you're on the replay, you can still scroll up on an Android and hit share, and you can share it with your followers, or even left to right on an Apple phone, you will be able to share that as well. And again, like I said, I will make sure that I upload this to my YouTube channel, but it will be available to see on Periscope for the next 12 hours. All right. Well, God bless. Thank you so much for taking the time for joining me on this scope. I wanted to take the time. I really felt that I wanted to at least spend some time with you tonight. And I pray that these success strategies will be beneficial to you and to your loved ones. All righty. God bless. Have a good evening. Have a great week and have a very successful year. Bye-bye.